Mic check 1 2 1 2. It's the Y2K collector, and I spent a good chunk of my afternoon jamming out to Lords of Thunder. And if you've never heard of that game, I strongly suggest you check it out. A really great game with some awesome rock music on it. I've seen reviews on the TurboGrafx 16 version. The version I am playing on my Sega CD there. But I've heard that the sound for this game is better on the Sega CD, but the actual gameplay and graphics are better on the TurboGrafx 16. Now, I don't have a TurboGrafx 16, but I do have a TurboGrafx 16 Mini, which I have yet to play this game on. So I'll have to test that theory one day. But this is a really cool game. I think you can either play it on the Sega CD, the TurboGrafx, or the TurboGrafx 16 Mini. Obviously, you can emulate it, but I'm not sure if there's any other systems or platforms you can play this on. So if anyone knows of one, let me know down in the comments. Wait, I think there was a Neo Geo CD release for this game too. I'm not sure, but someone can let me know down in the comments. Lords of Thunder is a dope game, definitely cool. But I just figured I'd take a pause. I'm getting my butt kicked, by the way, so needed to pause for a second before I perish once more, just to go ahead and put together a video for the Y2K crew. I actually wanted to work on something a little bit more formal, but I've been having camera issues today, and so that is a no-go. What I'm working on, though, is just my cell box, just putting together a cell box for this week. I'm gonna have some time this week to make my way to one of my local retro game stores, so that I can try and see what I can get for some of these games that I'm looking to get rid of. I'm actually trying to get rid of my loose cart copies of Super Castlevania 4 and Turtles in Time. In the beginning of the year, I actually wound up selling a bunch of Switch games, and when I sold those games, I was able to take some of those funds, and I did like somewhat of a cash out and then also a trade. And part of that trade was me picking up a complete in box copy of Super Castlevania 4, as well as a complete in box copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. And that was just a really good time for me. I was having a lot of success when it came to transitioning my collection. I was having a lot of success at some of my local retro game stores, just because they had more of the older niche retro games that I really wanted at the time, and I didn't really see any other places, or I didn't feel like I had any other options to, find some of those games. Now recently, and I know you guys are gonna kill me in the comments, but I don't care. Recently, I've had a lot of success at GameStop. I really have. And it's funny, I feel like I've had so much success that people are starting to think that like I work there or something, or that like I'm an undercover agent for GameStop. That is hilarious. Like you guys are putting way too much thought into this. It's just video games, guys. It's just video games. At the end of the day, when you collect video games, there's an ebb and a flow to it, right? Like there are going to be seasons where, you have more success in one area, and then that area may dry up, right? And then, you try different avenues for collecting, and you might have success in other spaces, right? It just depends. And then where you live also plays a role into it too, right? Like unfortunately, and I feel like a broken record, because I feel like I've said this on my channel so many times before, but unfortunately, I don't live in a place where there are tons of yard sales for me to go to, right? That's part one. Part two, even if there were, like I wouldn't have the time to hit up 10 yard sales in a day. Or do anything like that, just because at this stage and phase of everything that I'm working on outside of like collecting games, right? Because I have a whole life outside of collecting games, which is part of the reason why like my uploads have kind of slowed down. I was uploading a lot more before, but they've kind of slowed down just because it's a very busy time for me work-wise, but I just wouldn't have the time for it. And so GameStop is super convenient. Why? Because GameStop's website, for me personally, has become more reliable. If you look on my channel like 3 or 4 months ago, I literally had a video entitled 3 ways to tell you've walked into a poorly ran GameStop. That's how much I was losing by shopping at GameStop. I was just kept on having a bad experience. But what I learned with GameStop is that you kind of have to shop there wisely. Like, you kind of almost have to learn how to shop at GameStop to avoid getting screwed over, because they do things that screw people over. There are things that I notice even about their website that are a little janky. Like, for instance, they just had a buy 2 get 1 promo, and like, I was able to get like Mega Man X2, Def Jam Fight for New York, a few GameCube games, and it was cool. But it was almost like, it's almost like they realized the games that I was getting, and like after a while, like I was regulated to literally just Xbox 360 games and PS3 games. Like, I wasn't finding like any unique retro games anymore for the duration of the promo. And I promise you, as soon as the promotion ended, like literally the next day, when I looked on their website, all of a sudden they had all of these PlayStation 1 games. They had Mega Man Legends, they had Parasite Eve, Dino Crisis 2, they had Misadventures of Tron. Like, they had all these games on their website the next day. And in my mind, I'm like, dude, I was just on this website like a day ago. There's no way that all these games magically pop up. So I know that there's weird and shady things that go on with like GameStop's website. And sometimes even when you go to their stores, you can run into employees who are just misinformed or poorly trained or just don't know what they're doing. But that's when it just like falls on you as the consumer to be a smart consumer and know how to take advantage of them, right? So like, the way I looked at it was like, I could get mad and just be like, oh, I hate GameStop, or I could just figure out how to maximize the opportunities that they present to me as a collector, and catch my wins when I can catch them. And when I can't catch them, then I try my other avenues. So if you're a person who's just had really bad luck with GameStop and you really hate them and you want to like, you want to raise an army to like bash GameStop, I mean, you can do that, or you can be less emotional about it and say to yourself, okay, well, I know what I'm going to get from GameStop. How do I work their system in my favor? And if you can't get anything from them, then you don't, right? No one forces you to spend your money. You have to decide what you're going to do or how you're going to navigate it. And for me, I specifically shop there when they have things that I want and I'm able to buy them at prices that I'm comfortable with, period. And I think that's just a practice that you should apply anywhere, whether it's a yard sale, a thrift store, your friend trying to sell you something. You have to determine what you want, determine how much you're willing to spend for it, and determine the condition you want it in. And if you're able to check off all those boxes, then by all means, fire away. And that's just my take on that. And again, at the end of the day, it's just video games. Like, it's really not that serious. So I've had luck at GameStop, but I've also had luck at other places. And it looks like for the rest of the summer, when it comes to GameStop, you will be able to find really good games because they do have more games on their website. But you do run the risk of like it not coming complete in box and not working, you getting a scratched up disc. These are all the risks you have to take into account. So set your expectations, temper your expectations. You wouldn't go into McDonald's expecting to get like filet mignon steak. No, you would go into McDonald's knowing you're going to get a cheap burger. You don't go into McDonald's order a cheeseburger and then get upset that it's not like gourmet level. So you have to treat all of these things the same way. You know what, if you know what you're going to get from GameStop, set your expectations, shop wisely. For me, I'm going to try and see if I can hit up more of the local retro game stores that I was hitting in the past, because I know like when Labor Day comes up, there are usually like different Labor Day sales that you can take advantage of. They do different buy one get one free things and stuff like that. So there's different things that you can do to kind of roll with the tides of collecting, because there is an ebb and flow of collecting. Things do change. Some seasons are busier than others. Sometimes it feels like there's a ton of inventory out there, and then there are times where it feels like there's nothing out there. And it all depends on what you're shopping for. If what you're looking for is like common PS3 games, then the market right now is going to be flush. It's consistently flush with PS3 games, 360 games. If you're in the market for like niche Neo Geo games, good luck, right? Like you're gonna have a hard time finding stuff. So it just depends on you. But like I said, I am excited because this week I will get a chance to do some selling. I've got my sell box here. I've got some disc only games. I've got Egg. I've got some cool Super Nintendo games in here, some PS2, some PS3 stuff. So I'm not expecting to break the bank or get a big payday with this stuff, but it'll be a cool little down payment, possibly on something that I might be interested in. So we'll see what happens. I'll take you all along for the ride on that. And yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed the weekend. It's hot as hell, man. It is hot. I don't know where you are, where you're at, but my God, it's hot. It's like blazing hip hop and R&B out here. And hopefully you're able to stay calm and stay cool in this heat wave. But that does it for me. I'm the Y2K collector, keeping it cool on a cool Sunday evening. Hopefully you enjoy the weekend. I'll catch you in the next video. Take it easy.